Hello and welcome to the F1 Rear View podcast. It's Iltom here from the future. I'm recording this after this recording has been recorded. I just wanted to jump in before we get to the podcast today and just say that we've had a couple of issues with this episode. It should have gone up on the 17th of December, but instead it has gone up today, a week later on the 24th. So you could just treat it as a Christmas special if you want, I suppose. But it's not anything Christmassy. It's just a normal episode. It's the part 2 of the review I started on the 10th, I think it was. Anyway, if you're wondering where we've been and why we didn't upload last week, this is where we've been. But I won't take your time anymore. I'll let you get into the podcast now, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you, and have a great Christmas. Hello and welcome to the F1 Rear View podcast, where we take a look back over a weekend and review the race. However, once again this week we won't be reviewing a race. Instead, we'll be continuing our march through the season review, which we started in the last episode. If you missed the first episode, go give it a listen. We reviewed it from Australia to Hungary, and we're going to be continuing from this podcast from the mid-season break from Belgium to Abu Dhabi. So, as always, yes. I should say, I'm joined by the wonderful Reese Keeble.
Hello. Hi.
And unfortunately, we're missing producer Ruth this week.
She's not here.
She's otherwise occupied. So Reese is on the desk this week with sound effects.
I got sound effects,
He's
guys.
got sound effects.
Yeah.
I also should mention we're not in Studio A Media City where we usually record.
Normally we never really big it up. We should be like, we're live from Media City.
Normally record it from
we should do that.
Yeah, we'll do that in the next episode. When
we're live from Media City.
But no, today we're recording it live from Reese's kitchen.
With a live studio audience.
Yeah. They're not live. They're on the desk. They're not real. Okay. But we're using a Rodecaster, so hopefully we can make this sound as good as we can with the resources we've got.
That's why we ignore the mild hum of the fridge in the background.
There's a mild hum of the fridge in the background.
It is my kitchen.
Yeah, it is the kitchen. There's probably the boiler in there as well somewhere. It's probably all in there.
I should say that this podcast is proudly sponsored by Lager because
it's not.
I'm already drinking it.
I'm driving, so I'm being responsible. Remember, kids, if you drink, never drive.
Heineken tell you to drink Heineken Zero.
Yeah. It's part of the F1 sponsorship. If you drink, never drive. It's all over the track, you know. I'm also going to say thank you to a Facebook page, which is a bit of a weird one. Formula One News and Memes. They have been amazing in helping us promote this podcast, helping us get it off the ground. Go on, Reese.
Do you know what you can get from F1 News and Memes?
What can you get?
All the best Formula One news and memes.
You can. It's true. It's a Facebook page. It's got over 66,000 members. So please make sure go and give it a follow. If you're even slightly interested in Formula One, they've got some great stuff going on over there. If there's ever breaking news, that's the first place I hear about it. I don't know about you.
To be fair, yeah.
You know, they're always on the ball.
Someone's on the pulse. Normally, Kerry. Kerry's normally on the pulse.
Oh, definitely.
You know, and can I just say, I'm a massive Carlos Sainz fan as well, Kerry. There you go.
Yeah.
Also, a Shy Lager, if you want to sponsor us, please do. Thank you. I love a Shy.
We're not sponsored by
We're not sponsored by them at all.
We're not.
I want to be. Mm-hmm. Can we be? Mm-hmm. If they say, can we sponsor the podcast, can we?
Yeah.
What if they just generously donate a couple of bottles?
Well, you know, we're not opposed to that, are we? But
okay.
You know, if you drink, never drive.
I just want to see what
saying,
the rules are. Yeah, no, obviously.
You know, if you drink, never drive.
And you're designated driver.
I'm designated driver. Yeah. I brought all the kit and stuff because, you know, I'm just the best host there's ever been. That should win an applause.
Press the wrong button.
Yay!
You can tell that Reese's not here. Welcome to the show.
Without further ado, it's time for some more F1 news.
This is the F1 Rear View podcast.
We got that made midweek.
We got that made.
Tom didn't know whether to use it or not, so I'm going to try and throw it in every available possibility. Right.
I'm just trying to give some F1 news here, Reece.
7 minutes and 14 seconds of absolute.
Yeah, let's actually get into it. Yeah, so this is some F1 news I've gathered from this week. We recorded the last episode. We said it in the last episode. It was recorded on Tuesday the 4th. Mm-hmm. So we hadn't really got into F1 testing at that point. Obviously, now it's more than a week later, but this is when this podcast is coming out. So we're going to just talk kind of about F1 testing first. We're going to talk first about more than anything, because Abu Dhabi testing, there's not much you can read from it. It's the end of the season. Nothing really happens. You know, it's not like pre-season testing.
I'll tell you what did happen.
Go on.
It might be in your script, though. Mm-hmm. Should I tell you anyways?
Yeah.
Pierre Gasly He got a little bit of prank patrol.
Oh, I didn't do this one actually.
Ninjas hide the van.
That is true.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah.
That's a British reference for people who just don't. That's
Barney.
completely gone over.
Yeah.
Barney and the Ninjas on the
kids'
prank
show.
patrol. It was so good.
was
It was a
great.
staple of my childhood.
Oh, 100%. But yeah, so F1, the main thing we saw at F1 testing was new drivers. So there's a few different people that jumped into the cars over the weekend, mainly F2 drivers that were just kind of
Did you see Mr.
testing for
Jorge?
them. Mr. Jorge.
Jorge Russell.
That's the next story. That wasn't at F1 testing, so you know. Yeah, but F testing, Williams, they used F2 driver Roy Nissany in their car for both days. He's the Williams test driver. They got him in to have a play around. They also got their 2020 F1 driver to have a go in the car. That's Nicholas Latifi. But yeah, so that was Roy Nissany and where are you going?
I'm just going to open the back door.
Reese is off.
It's my kitchen. I can roll
It's his
around the
kitchen,
room.
yeah. He's just walked
anyways,
off.
carry on.
Yeah. So Roy Nissany and Nicholas Latifi took the Williamses out for a spin. Toro also used Dams' new Formula 2 driver for next year. He goes by the name of Sean Galale. You might know him from having a KFC bucket on his head.
I do not know him from that.
His helmet's a
but
KFC bucket.
I am very much intrigued to know him from that.
His dad owns KFC in Indonesia. So he's sponsored by KFC Indonesia. There you go. That's
There we go.
his helmet is just a bargain bucket.
And KFC, if you want to sponsor us, as always, please do get
Sean
in contact.
Galale, if you want to
Honestly,
get
we will
involved,
do.
we'll take anything, please. We're desperate. And obviously, Esteban Ocon, this is quite a big one. He returned from his year-long hiatus to drive for his new team, Renault. He drove on both days of testing. And it's interesting seeing him back in the Formula 1 car. What do you think about Ocon back in the Formula 1 car?
I quite like it.
Yeah?
I quite like it. I missed him last year.
I don't know if missed him is exactly how I felt. Ocon, he's a good driver. I just don't know if he's... It'll be interesting to see him back. I'm excited to see him back, especially against Daniel Ricciardo. That'll be interesting.
Hold on. Do you reckon Ricciardo's just going to absolutely nail it? Or do you reckon, will he just outshine his counterpart, which is Ocon?
I literally couldn't say. We haven't really ever seen them in equal machinery. We haven't ever seen Ricciardo and Ocon fully go for it.
Do you reckon Ocon's good enough to do it?
We haven't seen... I don't think we've seen Ocon's full potential. We can't really say... He's only ever been in a Manor or a Racing Point. Or a Force India, as it was. We've never seen him properly go through. You've never seen what he can actually do. He's been rated really highly. He's done great things.
The higher-ups of Renault might have seen something.
Exactly. There must be a reason they've hired him, apart from just being French. So, I am excited to see that.
I will drive the F1 car. I saw a fun fact about the Haas team.
What?
The two drivers have been driving together longer. I think it's 61 races they've done together.
Really?
And that's longer than both Hamilton and Bottas together as like a partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, Haas is the longest partnership on the grid, which is absolutely surprising.
That's cool.
It's
I'm not
surprising.
surprised. It's been a while. K-Mag left.
No, it's surprising as in they stayed this long.
Oh, well, yeah, but
That's what I mean.
They don't. Yeah, I suppose. Russell. Now this is the bit you were excited for. George Russell was there on the week after. This was the Pirelli testing. So this isn't the F1 testing. This is only the Pirelli testing.
Excuse me, guys. Can you please just test the tyres for this season?
Is that what they wanted?
It was essentially they just wanted to make sure the compounds for next season were ready, which is more news coming
Just
on that.
put them on a little tyre, like a
You can't get the same simulation you can get from actually putting it on.
Oh wow,
a
yeah,
track, though.
they're good enough.
But he tried out the new 18-inch wheels, which are getting in 2021.
They look sexy.
Yeah, I actually think they look really racy.
You know when we call this the rear view podcast?
Yeah, they look really nice, really racy. I did really like that. And also what they concluded is the word I'm looking for from that tyre test is that the tyres they were planning to use for next year were rubbish and they're going to continue using this year's tyres instead. That's why Reese is here, guys.
Are you mad that I did that
He's got
sound effect?
No, that
was
went
right?
well. That was good producing.
Yeah, thank
Good
you.
job.
Cheers.
Yeah.
You just hit
Careful,
green.
Ruth.
The
You might be out of a job here.
Green's flashing in my face. You just hit it. And then that happens. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Also in the news this week, this is quite a cool one. Valtteri Bottas, a week after finishing in F1, he's gone and done some rallying.
And a week after finishing with his wife. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, they got a divorce. But yeah, a week after finishing his Formula One campaign for 2019, he went to Paul Ricard, which is a Formula One circuit.
I thought
in
that was
France.
a person. But
It's a
carry on.
French.
Okay.
That's what the French Formula One circuit's called, Paul
Okay.
Ricard. And he went and won
Paul.
his first rallying race, which is pretty cool.
Well done, Bottas.
Yeah, well done, Bottas.
Did
That's just
Mercedes
quite
let him
cool.
do that, or did he just go off on his own accord?
Ah, he's not contracted to Mercedes in the off season. He can go do what he wants.
Is that true?
Yeah.
So if
Is
he
it-
wanted to go professional wrestle in the off season,
Yeah.
he could just go
Why not?
boxing.
Yeah.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
What if he breaks his leg?
As long as he is fit enough to start the next season.
But what if he breaks his leg?
Well, then there'll be problems because he's probably breaching his contract in that sense. But as long as it's like fine for him to do it, and it's just like a summer holiday, he can do what he wants. This is the biggest news though from this week. Russia have been banned by the WADA, the World Anti-Doping Association, or something like that. RADA, maybe, I don't know.
Do people always call it WADA?
I don't.
Is that something
WADA,
that you just
maybe.
made up for the podcast?
That's actually the analogy is WADA, but I think it's
But do
WADA.
people
It's
call it
ADA
WADA or
something,
do they
maybe
actually just say
RADA.
the full name?
I just said WADA. I
said
think
WADA.
it sounds cool. But yeah, they've been suspended from all world sports till 2023, I think it is, or 4. Exactly. It was obviously there's been a lot of stuff involving Russia and doping in the past. And
Now,
so
I saw this on BBC Sport
Yeah.
to do with football.
it's
Okay.
they're not allowed in the Olympics, they're not allowed to be in football. There's a whole load of
So
stuff.
I saw BBC Sport put this on, and I didn't even think about F1.
F1, yeah.
Didn't
so,
even cross my mind.
uh,
But I mean, Daniel Kvyat with his old dubstep remix. What's he gonna do?
Exactly. So this is it. So FIA are a registered part of the World Anti-Doping Association, WADA, as I like to call it.
Good old WADA.
And so the specific details aren't quite released yet. But obviously, there's a Russian Grand Prix and a Russian driver. So for the Russian Grand Prix, it's not clear whether they're going to be able to continue hosting it. We're not 100% sure on that yet.
There's a thing about the signature of the contract or something that you were talking to me about.
So they have a contract till 2025 to host the Grand Prix, and the promoters of the Grand Prix are saying that it would be legally and technically impossible to cancel it. So that's like the loophole that they have at the moment. They've got a contract in place. It would be legally and technically impossible to get rid of that. So they might have to go ahead with it because it's binding kind of thing.
I was going to say, like, obviously they put in ink to paper,
Exactly.
but is it
Does WADA overrule that?
Is it that hard to get rid of it?
We don't know. But at the same time, I don't think the FIA honestly that bothered. F1 isn't something that doping is a massive part of. I don't think you could dope it.
You can't be
unless
off your nut driving an F1 car.
Yeah, you'd have to inject like more fuel into the engine. That's the only way you could dope an F1 kind of thing, like Leclerc did in Abu Dhabi. What?
He said you
But yeah, so Russian athletes is the one that's really weirdly specific in this one. So a lot of Russian athletes have been banned from taking part in the sport.
See,
for doping.
this got me concerned.
Yeah,
Because
so
Daniel Kvyat is genuinely one of my favourite drivers on the grid.
Interesting.
I don't. It's a weird one with him.
right,
I always know he's going to bring entertainment. I'm
Yeah.
not saying he's good.
but he's
I'm not saying he's
entertaining.
bad.
Right.
I'm just saying there's always going to be entertainment with Daniel Kvyat.
That's fair enough. So he will be racing, obviously he's contracted to race in Toro Rosso next year. So basically Daniel Kvyat, as long as he can prove he wasn't involved with the doping and all that kind of stuff, he will be allowed to continue to run. He'll just have to run as a neutral contestant. So that means he's going to have to run without allegiance to any flag. He's going to have to run without a flag, basically, which has never been done in Formula One before. And you brought up a good point the other day.
I was thinking, what kind of music will he have when they're raising the flag?
Exactly.
Because-
Assuming he wins a race.
Well, I mean, come on, it's obvious that he's going to win.
Alpha
this year.
Tauri, they're going to be pacey. We're going to get more details on this, I'm sure, probably as the season approaches.
I want
February
him
next
to
year.
sing his own national anthem.
He's going to stand and go, I am Daniel Kvyat.
Oh, Daniel's won a race and I can't quite believe it.
Yeah, there we go.
Something like that.
I'll send that to him and see if he likes it. Yeah.
If he wants me to come out, if he wins a race, fly me out.
And we can, yeah.
I'll come to every race of the season just in case. Obviously for Daniel, not
to watch them.
Not to watch him.
No, and
obviously
make sure you
not.
get the +1.
Obviously,
You
yeah.
know, and
yeah,
we
yeah.
will do an F1 podcast, rear view podcast
We've got
live
this.
from every single race.
We've got this thing
we'll
now.
Just nick
the
this,
whole.
you know. Exactly.
It's got all the sound effects.
It's great. Yeah. Yeah, there we go.
case.
Just in case you all forgot what we had on
It's
the
got all
deck
the sound
there.
effects. We can take it with us.
Yeah, we'll
and
take it with us.
He can turn around and he can be like, I'll tell you what, Reese, I'm going to win the race. And I'm going to be like, oh,
Daniel Kvyat,
See?
you won the race.
You won the race, man.
But yeah, we'll make sure we give more details on the podcast as soon as we get them on what's going to happen with Russia, what's going to happen with Daniel, and we'll let you know as soon as we hear that. Probably be like at the start of season 1. We'll probably get that information. So we'll let you know when that time comes.
This is the F1 Rearview Podcast.
It is indeed. Thank you for that again, Reese. It's time to go to the season review.
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 Season review.
The season review.
It's the season review.
It's the season review. We're going to start off in Belgium.
Yes.
Belgium, 2018,
I'm absolutely useless for these season reviews, by the way.
No, you can just chip
I'm
in.
completely useless.
Because I loved it in the last episode when you remembered you remembered the race and it came to you. Yeah, there we go. And that's made it for me. Oh, he's off again. He's off again.
See, so you think
he's
opening
walking
the
around his
back
kitchen.
door will make it colder?
Yeah.
It's made it too cold.
It's too cold now.
It's not too cold.
He's going to close
I
the
need
door.
to close the back door.
You're gone. Go close the back door.
I'm going to close the back door.
This is just the adventure of Reese Keeble now. We've heard him keep talking.
I'm producing this podcast.
He's producing it from the back
I'm
door.
producing it.
Here he goes.
And I'm just walking around. It's raining as well.
It's raining.
That's quite heavy rain, to be fair.
Well, close the door. I don't want us to get inside.
There's water droplets on the inside of the glass.
You don't want to get water on your beautiful
quite
kitchen
moist
floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, here he is. He's back now.
I'm back now,
He's
sorry.
back now.
Sorry, guys.
Belgium, 2018. Not this year. I was there. Not this year. I wasn't there. Just a little fun fact. If anyone's at the... yeah, the audience again as well now. If anyone's at the 2018 Belgium Grand Prix, you might see me. Ooh, hello. Yeah, so Belgium 2019 was a really sad race. And to be honest, I'm glad I wasn't there because it would have been very sad. We lost tragically, and it actually is really tragic. We lost Anton Hubert on like a serious note, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that was a really sad race. Obviously, that happened. But I feel like in the actual Formula One race, there was a really good comeback. Charles Leclerc obviously went to go win it, which was an amazing race for him. Antoine was one of his really good friends. They grew up together. They went through karting together. And so Charles, when he won his maiden Formula One Grand Prix, obviously he missed out, if you remember in the first episode on Bahrain, he missed out on Austria, and he managed to come back and win it in Belgium, first race back from the mid-season break, and he won it for his good friend. So it was a really, really special win for him, I'm sure, and one I'm sure Charles will remember forever.
Oh, definitely. You heard the emotion.
You really did.
When he won, like down
Yeah.
the microphone, like you always. I mean, I don't know whether you always listen to it, but I always go to the radio afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, F1 always upload that radio
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
on
yeah.
YouTube. Always go to that, and you heard the
It was
emotion in
just
his voice.
emotion in his voice. That must mean the world to him that he won that race and that he did it.
I'm so
Just
glad.
less-
That's the one race I'm so glad he won
Yeah.
because
Oh,
you know,
100%. If it wouldn't have been right for anyone else
practically
to win
best
that.
mates. With
Yeah.
him, you know, he
Less than 24 hours after he lost his
He
best mate.
100% deserved to win that. See, my mum thought that he might be driving a bit more cautious after what happened,
But-
which is what I thought too.
Well, but he's done it before. He lost his dad, obviously tragically as well. The year before, 2 years before when he was in Formula 2, and he went and won the race that weekend, just 24 hours after as well. Amazing young man who's got incredible talent and great strength to be able to do that. To be fair, because I think many people, if they lost their best friend like that, they'd go home. They wouldn't want to race.
Damn right.
But he raced for him, and the whole paddock did. To be fair, that was a really special weekend.
Really nice race.
And it continued into Italy, to be fair, the memorial stuff. We went to Italy, and Leclerc won again. Even more special, I think, for Charles was that when he won in Italy, because it was the first time since 2010 that Ferrari had won in Italy, and that obviously was incredibly special as well. He just had two really special races in a row for Leclerc.
Was it Italy where they had the DJ set?
No, that was
After the
Mexico.
race.
That was Mexico. That was a few races later. Italy, you will remember it.
I will I?
Slightly more important than the race. Obviously, the race was amazing. Scuderia Ferrari won for the first time since 2010. Amazing for them.
Just say Ferrari next time.
Yeah, I will. But it was the qualifying that had people talking. You'll remember this. It was the
Oh,
qualifying.
it was when they all backed up, wasn't it?
They all backed up, yeah. And so it was the qualifying that had people talking. It was a very weird Q3. Only one car, Carlos Sainz, got to set a second Q3 lap
Carlos.
time. Because despite all the cars that were in Q3 being on the track, only one got to set a second Q2 time because for some reason Charles just was like, I'm going to sit on the brakes for this lap. I don't want to be at the front.
Imagine if Carlos set the fastest lap.
That would have been amazing.
Wow. We thought all of our dreams came true on the last race of the year. That would have been absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Are we not talking more about that qualifying thing?
Well, there's not really much more to talk about. It was a mess.
You could hear everyone going nuts on the radio.
Yeah. You could. They were like...
Should we play that team radio?
All right, yeah, hang on.
You
I'll
can
see if
find
I can
the
it.
team radio. Talk amongst yourselves while Tom's finding this. You're listening to the F1 review. We are now on Spotify. So if you're listening through the YouTube page, please go on Spotify and make sure you go subscribe on there. We're also going out on Can Do FM and Utter Radio. He's got it now.
I've got it. Right, here we go.
Okay.
So watch Hülkenberg. He may play games. He won't want to tow you.
We are tight with timing. I will let you know.
Third chance to go.
So this is it. This is it. It was really weird because everyone was coming out.
Got very little time in hand.
No one wanted to
Tried
be at the
get
front.
forward.
Need to push now.
They're all
Tell
saying
him
to go.
come in front.
You can hear them all saying to push.
Yeah.
If you can move up the field, that'd be good.
Oh,
You need to defend the position. Is 4 or 5 seconds to the flag. Most cars will not get it.
And you can overtake Sebastian. Overtake Sebastian.
We're not safe.
Keep pushing. Keep pushing now. You need to go. You need to go. You need to go.
they need to go.
They really need to go.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's cool. They kept us all behind, so we couldn't get a lap.
What a mess.
What a mess. And it was.
Pole position anyway, guys. Thanks for everything.
It's an interesting tactic, just to keep pole position. You just don't need to do the lap.
Interesting allegations from Lewis there as well at the end.
I like how Charles Leclerc just wrote off Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
By saying, "Oh, we got pulled." Yeah, well,
But you know, it was a very weird lap in that everyone was just the mechanics were going, right guys, seriously go now.
Yeah.
Even if you get the toe, you
And
get
no
a
one
lap
did.
in. No one did because the way Italy works, the toe makes almost a second up. It's insane how much time you
You
can get
heard
from
the
a
Sky
toe.
Sports coverage, which
Exactly.
was just
It was just
every single thing. They were just all talking about the toe.
was the toe. It was
It
just
was
that important.
practically, who do you call it? Ted.
Ted.
That's all Ted was talking
He
about
was,
all weekend
yeah.
was just getting the toe.
And obviously at the end there, Lewis makes some allegations towards Ferrari, saying that the reason they kind of sat back was because they were scared they were going to lose the pole position to Mercedes. I don't think that's the case. I don't think they did do that. I think wouldn't be very sportsmanlike.
I think it was just a case of no one wanted to go first because they
Oh,
all
yeah.
wanted the toe.
Yeah.
They just backed each other up, and Carlos Sainz was like, "See you later, guys."
And I think Lewis knows he could have easily gone past if he wanted to go past and set a lap. They weren't
I remember
holding back.
I remember watching this because I was at a lodge type place.
Right.
My mum was in the hot tub.
Right. Ooh.
Just bubbling away as she does. You
Nice.
know, cooks on 370 degrees.
Right,
and whatnot.
yeah, nice.
And I shouted her out because I was like, "Mum, watch this! Like
Yeah.
now it's gonna happen." And she came out for like the final lap. I was like,
You
"They're all-"
hang on. You said, Mum, get out of the hot tub that you're really enjoying, come watch the TV, nothing's happening.
Yeah. And the thing is, she did get out of the hot tub. No, so she came and watched, and I was like, "Look, they just all going to back each other up," and they did.
Yeah.
I remember watching it now.
It was really
I
weird.
completely remember watching
yeah.
it.
It was a
Because
really,
we were
really
just-
weird one.
We were just both shouting at the TV because we were like, "This is genuinely ridiculous."
Mm-hmm.
The thing, right, of a race weekend, I enjoy qualifying the most.
Yeah.
It is my favourite part of the race weekend.
Because it's just fun to see the competitive nature. Because it's closer in qualifying than it is in the race, which is unfortunate to say, but in many positions it is, apart from Brazil, which we'll get to later. But yeah, it was a bit of a weird one in that sense. Yeah, it was a good race though. Obviously Ferrari won it. It was amazing because the Ferrari fans were all there.
Do you have in your notes who came second and third?
I do. Second and third was Bottas and Hamilton.
Right.
Yeah. So in Singapore, though, which is the race after, I'll skip over to that one now. This was one of 3 races this season which didn't have a Mercedes on the podium. There was only 3 races in the whole season that didn't have a Mercedes on the podium. Can you name the rest? The only other 2 ones were big ones.
It was Abu Dhabi.
No.
The one before that.
Which was?
I can't remember. I know it was the one before that because I was celebrating. This is what I was on about. This race review, I'm absolutely shit for. Okay, because I don't remember what happens when.
It was the one before that. It was Brazil.
Brazil, that's it.
and the
Because
other one was-
Lewis did get the podium, but then he didn't. But we'll talk about that.
It was
later
Germany as well, the other one. So
on. Oh yeah, because they both crashed out.
the two really
Lewis finished last.
random ones. So Singapore was actually the only kind of proper race, if you will, that didn't have a Mercedes on the podium. That wasn't completely mad.
I find that Brazil is a proper race.
To an extent, but
It wasn't completely mad.
it wasn't as mad as Germany, but the Ferraris crashing into each other, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but Bottas took the thing, didn't he?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. But we'll get to Brazil.
Okay.
That's still
because
to come.
that's a lot of
We've
talking
done
points for
Germany.
me.
Yeah.
I will scream when we get to Brazil.
Okay. But in Singapore, it was Vettel that won the race. This was his first win for 392 days. His last race before that was in Belgium 2018. I was there. I was in Belgium 2018, not 2019. Oh, we missed. I was in Belgium 2019. Thank you. But, you know.
That was...
I was in Belgium 2018. I wasn't there in 2019. But, yeah, that was the last time. I was really annoyed when Vettel won in Singapore because I wanted him to retire and be like, I saw Vettel's last win. But then he went and won a race. Yeah, but Singapore was a very interesting race as well because it was pole sitter Charles who was going to win. And then Ferrari did a little bit of a cheeky strategy. And Vettel got out ahead and went to win the race. And that made a little bit of tension in the Ferrari team, which was then, I say, emphasised more in Russia.
So what race was that you just talked about?
That was Singapore.
Singapore.
Yeah. We're now
Who
in
came
Russia.
second and third in Singapore?
Leclerc and then Verstappen.
You keep forgetting to mention that.
Sorry.
I'll keep bringing it up.
We then went to Russia. Now, this race wasn't noted for being extremely exciting.
Is this the same Russia that was in the news this week?
It was the same Russia that was in the news this week. I'm glad you're listening, Reese.
I'm listening. I'm paying attention.
Yeah, so it was the Russian Grand Prix that caused a lot of controversy, specifically between Ferrari. They looked set to end Mercedes' dominant run. What?
You said that I was listening. Do you want to see the notes I was taking?
Oh, you're showing me your hand. So.
It's just a massive.
Oh, thanks.
That's a fun notepad. Carry on.
But yeah, it was in Russia that Ferrari looked set to end Mercedes' dominant run at the Sochi Autodrome. Mercedes has won there every year it's been on the calendar so far. Bottas he loves that circuit. He's brilliant around it. But it was Ferrari in qualifying. They were the fastest. They got the 1-2. They looked fast in practice. They were the obvious team to win, you could say.
Yep.
Hamilton won. Bottas second, Leclerc third. So yeah, in a space of a few seconds, you could say that their hope of victory literally disappeared. So it was off the line. Vettel got a great start using Leclerc's slipstream. As I say this, you might remember it. And
was
he
it
got
the
into
one
first
where
place.
they demanded Vettel and Leclerc to switch?
Yeah.
I remember it.
Yeah, so he got into first place using his slipstream, and then that was the plan. And then they said Leclerc would get the position back from Vettel. That didn't happen. The German kept his foot down and had no intention of giving the place back. And the team said to them, right, okay, we'll settle the race in the pit stops when it comes round to it. They got Leclerc into the pits first. He set some really fast laps and came out ahead of Vettel, which was really good. It was in the net lead. It looked like it was his to win now. And then a few corners later, Vettel's car conked out. He pulled over at the side of the road.
He did.
And a safety car came out, which neutralised the race and essentially gave Hamilton a free pit stop. Hamilton and Bottas both pitted, came out miles ahead of Leclerc, and that was all she wrote.
They were both ready.
Oh yeah, it was an incredible strategy call from Mercedes that won the race they had no right to win.
It makes you wonder why Lewis decides to undermine his strategist all the time, because he's so incredibly good.
He's on the ball, yeah, well, definitely.
Do you know his name?
James something.
Is James not?
It's James.
Bottas is?
No, James is the strategy guy.
Okay.
He's the one that says Valtteri, it's James, because he's getting on the radio because he's the strategy guy telling him to give Lewis a position. Mechanic doesn't do that job.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was James Vowles, I think, is his name, and then they just gave them a great strategy. They went to take the lead, they went to win on, and they had just a great race. And they took what looked to be an almost sure victory for Ferrari, which was really sad, to be fair. But that's that.
I've got to say, if I've got to pick between Ferrari and Mercedes, it's Ferrari every time.
Yeah, because you want the underdog, don't you? I mean, that's what Ferrari are at the moment.
Technically, yes, but
you want to see Mercedes end their dominance more than anything. I think that's probably fair to say.
I want everyone to drive in the same car next year, and it just to be entertaining.
This breaking news now just coming in. Everyone's using the same car next year.
Is that because I just said it on the podcast?
Yeah.
You're welcome, guys.
The FIA are listening, and they were like, "Oh, Reese wants it. We'll
listening
give it
live, not when I've recorded and sent it out."
Yeah. Well,
I wondered who that guy was
in
with
the
pair of
corner of your
headphones.
kitchen. Yeah.
I wondered who he was.
Yeah, he's from the FIA.
All right.
Yeah, mate.
Do you want a drink? No. Coffee. 2 sugars. All right, spot on.
Are you going to make him a drink?
Yeah.
All right. Reese is going to make the FIA guy a drink. Oh, that was a dead joke, wasn't it?
It was.
Oh.
It was also spooky.
Japan. You probably don't remember. You might remember. This is where Albon and your boy Lando had a little bit of a...
I never know whether you say you won't remember because I got too drunk during the race.
No, just...
Or whether because it's just a dead race.
You're just not very good at remembering things.
Yeah, I never know.
Sometimes you forget we're friends and I have to just remind you.
You're phoning me. I'm like, who's this? Do you want to do the podcast, Reese? What?
Yeah, you probably will remember it though. This is when Leclerc and Albon had a little bit of a kiss. Do you remember? Do you remember? No. You were pretty angry at it after the race for like the next few days, but it's obviously gone now. It's not there anymore. So Vettel had a great start from third on the grid.
Wait, what was that? Well, I was angry for the next couple of days.
Yes, because you were like, oh, we should have got a penalty for that, but you didn't, and then you just completely forgot about it now.
Because it's it's about, 5 races ago?
Yeah, but, it was still a race that happened.
Well, I don't remember it now, do I?
Well, it was also an important race because
was it the one where? Oh, sorry, go on.
A team called Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team wrapped up their 6th constructors' title this race.
Yeah, so I still don't remember.
Yeah, no, you don't. It was Bottas' first win, though, that he got after having a great race from 3rd on the grid. It was his first win since Azerbaijan. And they were made constructors' champion for the 6th time, and is what decided that Bottas would finish ahead of Vettel in the championship.
All right.
There you go.
Fun fact.
Then we went to the
Hold on, can we talk more about that kiss? Because I'm still not understanding.
Right.
What happened?
Albon was overtaking Norris into a corner.
Mm-hmm.
Albon went up the inside. Norris didn't realise he was on the inside. Norris turned in and hit Albon.
See, you're making it sound like, because you're a Red Bull fan,
right?
You're making it sound like it's Norris's fault.
It was declared a racing incident, which literally means it's no one's fault. It was just both.
Norris
racing.
definitely had to pit for that, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
And that's why I went mad.
Yeah. But, that's racing.
Okay.
Mexico. You must remember. you must remember Mexico.
Yes.
What happened in Mexico, Reese?
They put the car on the podium.
They did. That was the car on the podium race. Yes, it was. Oh, hang on. Oh, I played both.
Don't play both. It's a good moment for us on the Reese Keeble podcast.
This is the rear view podcast.
You can tell it's a good thing on the F1 rear view.
Yeah.
Keep that going.
You're so bright.
I'm so bright.
Remembering us on the podium.
Smart.
I'm so proud of you.
What I do is I study the races that have been and gone.
Do you?
Rather than doing my uni work.
Really?
I'm a bit behind.
See, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Where's all your notes of the races, though?
In my mind.
Oh, right, okay.
They're all up there, floating around, wondering
what actually happened in Mexico was in qualifying, in the last corner, Valtteri Bottas took a little trip into the old barriers. Max Verstappen, who had pole position at the time,
he didn't slow down.
He didn't take his foot off the accelerator and didn't get a penalty. Then he went to the post-race press conference and said, yeah, I didn't lift off. And then the FIA were like, wait, you didn't lift off? And he was like, yeah, I didn't lift off. The FIA were like, oh, we're going to have to penalise you now. Mm-hmm. He kind of mucked up on his own words there.
He was a bit of a silly Billy.
Silly Billy.
Bit of a silly Billy.
But it was Lewis Hamilton that went on to win the race with an incredible, and I'm genuinely impressed by this. He got a 48 lap stint and pulled off an amazing one stop, which most people didn't think would be possible in the race.
Well,
but it was.
This is the thing that I've got an issue with. Okay.
Right.
Pirelli always go, oh, the softs are available. They'll be available for about 12 laps. The mediums, they can do about 20. And the hards, they'll do about around 30.
Right.
How did he do 48 laps on one tyre?
That's why it's amazing. He
I know, but this is what I mean.
He took the hards so far.
Pirelli just chatting absolute nonsense.
Hamilton is just an incredible driver. And he just pulled off an incredible drive.
Okay.
It was after a tangle with Bottas on lap 4 after the start of the race that he fell to the back of the grid. This is Verstappen. And it was just, he had no race basically from there. He started P3 despite his penalty. Mm-hmm. But after that, he just had to pit again. He ended up right at the back. And he came through to finish in 6th. Behind Albon, it wasn't his best race. It should have been an
impressive drive, though.
It should have been so much more for them. Though. It should have been so much more. That was a Red Bull dominating weekend.
Verstappen should have won it. Albon should have come second.
And once again, Mercedes were there to pick up the pieces, getting the win.
Well, what about my boys, McLaren? How did they do?
I don't know. I've only got top 3.
Okay,
sorry.
Ouch. That hurts
Have they been in
until we
top
get
3?
to Brazil. Yeah, Brazil.
Then we went to the US of A. America.
This is the F1 Rear View Podcast.
Yeah, so we're in the US of A. It was Bottas' 4th win of the season.
Fourth win of the season.
It was indeed.
It was Bottas' 4th win of the season.
But he didn't quite do enough to deny Lewis Hamilton from taking a historic 6th world title.
Is it historic?
It is historic. Only one other person's ever done it in history. That's pretty historic.
Which is?
I'm going to give this to you. Who is it?
Is it...
one person in the history of Formula 1 has got 6 world titles before. Who has the most world titles in Formula 1?
There's 3 that's in my mind. Okay.
Reese, who has the most world titles in Formula 1? You're on a Formula 1 podcast, Reese. This should just be there. He's regarded as one of the greatest sportsmen of all time.
Niki Lauda.
No!
Senna?
How many titles do you think that... Senna died before he got his 3rd.
Schumacher.
Yes. Michael Schumacher.
So that's the first name that came into my head.
Why didn't you say it then?
Because I thought, Lauda's the obvious... Lauda's the obvious option. I thought Schumacher's the obvious option.
Why is Lauda the obvious option?
No, I said Schumacher's the obvious option.
Okay.
It might be Lauda.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, Senna's up there in like the
Turn
top.
up a bit then.
Okay.
It might be louder.
Is this better?
But yeah, it made him 6th-time world champion, something that's only been done before by Michael himself. Incredible.
Michael.
Honestly, and it was an incredible race.
Can I just say that I knew that before you put me on the spot?
I know you did. Actually.
That actually hurt
You
my
were just
feelings.
playing it up for the podcast, weren't
Obviously,
you?
because that really hurt my feelings, the fact that you did that.
And it was Max Verstappen that rounds out the podium in 3rd. Do you know what the race after Brazil was?
Can I just say, I am producing this.
Yeah.
However, it's so easy for you to reach over and touch my buttons. It's
I am
unreal.
pressing a few of these.
It's so annoying.
Here we go. That's me.
That's
Reece.
me.
Yeah, so do you know what race it was after the USA though, Reece? That's the
I
question.
do.
What was
I
it?
do.
What was
If
it?
you give me 30 seconds, I can think about it. Talk amongst yourselves.
Do you want me to read you the podium? Then you might remember.
Nope.
You sure?
It was
It was
Brazil.
Brazil.
I knew that. Applause, please.
We need like a Brazil-like theme to like ba-da-da-da-ba-da-da-da-da. That's Spanish, but you know what I mean.
That was da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, we went to Brazil and having come agonisingly close to winning at Interlagos last year before we had a little come together with Esteban Ocon. It was a brilliant performance from Max Verstappen that saw him convert pole position into his 3rd win of the 2019 season, while a mind-boggling final few laps took place. I think that's fair to say.
Oh, Albon was a off.
Well, even before that,
you can believe
I'm
that.
going to say the first half of this race was incredibly boring.
Oh my word.
Well, not incredibly boring. It wasn't as intense as maybe we'd have liked from Interlagos.
So something personal happened in my life. Basically, my girlfriend was in hospital. She was in there for quite a long time.
Yeah.
I told her, listen, babe, you can do one.
Yeah.
The race is on. I'll watch it with Omas. We're going to watch it and just chill out.
I take priority over
obviously
Georgia any time.
And I was like, we'll come to hospital after. Well, we will. I'll come to hospital afterwards.
Yeah.
And then I regretted it after about 5 laps because the middle part of the race was genuinely so boring.
But then Sebastian Vettel tried to go around the outside of Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc didn't want him to go around the outside, so pushed him a little touch.
Closed the door. He closed the door.
It was the tiniest touch. It actually was the tiniest touch, but it took both of them out of the race.
Wrecked them both.
And I can't believe it still. It made the race so much more exciting. That all actually happened first. The first catalyst to that was Bottas had a little engine failure.
Oh, and he had to pull into the sides.
And didn't quite get the car into a safe position.
Well, do you reckon he didn't quite get it into a safe position on purpose?
Oh, no, not a chance.
No?
No. Mercedes wouldn't have wanted to lose that race.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying they would have.
If the safety car came, they would. They'd have said to him, make sure it's in a safe position. Because he did put it on an off-road. The only reason the safety car had to come out was because they still needed a crane to get it off from where it was. So they had to lift it over the barrier. He was nice and safe off the circuit. They could have left it there and said it was safe, but they needed to get the crane in just to make sure. But yeah, he retired. The Ferraris crashed. Mercedes Lewis Hamilton tipped Alex Albon, trying to make a little move up the inside.
I'll take this off you because...
Go on, over to Reece Keeble.
You were incredibly fuming.
I was.
You were so angry, so it was unreal.
At this point...
What happened was, Alex opened the door.
He did.
Alex left the door wide open.
Hang on, let's give a bit of context first.
He was sweeping round the corner.
So Hamilton was in 4th because he just pitted under the safety car, which was really weird.
Yeah, because it
when
was
there
like
only
one
4
lap
laps
to go. I think it was about 3 to be fair when they did it.
And it was a really weird
ridiculous
pit stop.
call.
It put him off the podium.
James, what are you playing at?
Well, exactly.
You know.
But at that point, then it was.
Now that we know his name, by the way.
It was Max in 1st, Pierre Gasly in the Toro Rosso in 2nd, and then Alex Albon in 3rd. It was a full Red Bull podium.
Carlos Sainz was in 5th.
It was a full Honda podium. This is why I was getting so excited. You will admit my 2 favourite car brands are Honda and Red Bull. Are you going to deny that to me or what?
Your foot was shaking on the floor in
I was Christian Horner, yeah.
And in Christian style,
I was so excited. I was like, this isn't real. This isn't going to happen. And then Lewis Hamilton was like, I'm going to make a cheeky move up the inside of Alex Albon.
But then the door was open and then it was quickly shut. The door wasn't open for long enough.
It wasn't.
For Lewis to make that move, in my
opinion. It was open in a way that... That's just how he was taking the corner.
Yeah,
it wasn't. You could say it was open, but it wasn't open.
But then Lewis knew that.
It was a jar.
Lewis apologised right away, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did. And he took the penalty. He knew that he definitely deserved it. Spoiler, he got a penalty. So he did end up coming 3rd with a very close drag race with Gasly to the line, which was very tight.
This race was my favourite Ted's Notebook of the year.
Oh, yeah.
I always watch Ted's Notebook. This was my favourite one of the year.
I've got a little bit of a note at the end here, to be fair. It was Alex Albon got knocked out second, which allowed Pierre Gasly to finish in a sensational P2. But it was the post-race controversy which kept so many viewers, like you just said there, just glued to their TVs. We didn't want to turn it off. We didn't want to, because normally a lot of people stay to watch the post-race, television with Ted, with the podium, with all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But a lot of people will just turn it off. Like, the race is over. I don't want to watch all that.
I don't give a
Exactly, but this kept so many people glued to the TVs because they wanted to know the news, which was on a potential penalty for Lewis Hamilton due to his collision with Alex.
Ted was absolutely incredible during this.
He was just standing in the McLaren,
he walked straight into
people.
McLaren. Okay, he turned around to a woman who was told to keep the people out and gone, "Excuse me, do you know what's happening?" and stuff like that.
And she said,
and then,
"I'm not allowed to say."
Yeah.
No, this was with Carlos. Carlos was walking to the garage. Ted was like, "All right, Carlos." And he's like,
Yeah.
"All right, Ted." He was like, "Am I allowed to talk to you about the potential penalty or not?" He's like, I don't know anything yet. I can't say anything." He's like, "Well, I'm just going to follow your media person. What's your favourite fish?"
he was like, "You can ask me anything else but that." And then Ted just went, "Oh, what's your favourite fish?"
And I can't remember what his response was. I think it was Bass or something like that.
Yeah.
But, there you go.
It wasn't Haddock,
little,
that was for sure.
little bit of trivia.
And then what I was getting at was in the actual McLaren area.
Garage, there was just like PR
there was
women
just
and
loads
stuff.
of women and guys stood there, just trying to get people to stop. Ted picked up a menu and started reading it. I don't know why he did it.
It was thrilling television.
So good. It was
you
so
could tell
funny.
his producer was just in his ear doing, "Ted, just do something. We've got like 10 minutes of air still. Just do something, please."
Ted grabs the menu. He goes, "Oh, look, it looks like there's fish on the menu."
Carlos will like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a very good bit of TV that I think probably one of Sky's highest notebook viewerships, I'd say, of the year.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they did cancel it in the first half of the year, so...
Well, we're not talking about that, though, are we? Hashtag bring back Ted.
Hashtag, yeah, I know.
Ted came back.
And the fact that Lando was that buzzing when
was.
Ted came up to... Is this the notebook?
He's like, the
It is
notebook's
Lando.
back. Ted, the notebook's back. And Ted couldn't say the notebook went anyway. He's like, well, it didn't go anywhere. It's just was on a bit of hiatus. But anyway, the penalty was given, and it saw Carlos Sainz incredibly promoted to P3, and he gained his first ever Formula One podium.
That's the first time that I wanted to spray a bottle of champagne myself after a race.
But the most amazing part for me there, from Carlos especially, because Pierre got his first podium as well, which is an amazing race from him. But Carlos had a failure or something in qualifying. He didn't manage to qualify, and he ended up having to start from P20.
He went from incredible race.
P20 to a podium in a McLaren.
It was such... Excuse me, McLarens are good.
Did they get any other podiums this season?
No,
that's
but
why
he had an
it's
incredible
amazing.
race. He had an incredible race.
And it was also... Sorry, go on.
Credit to Lando Norris.
Oh, yeah.
Because afterwards, when they found out, like an hour later, they went back up to the podium, so that he could stand on P3 where Lewis was stood with his trophy, smiling, and Lando popped the bottle of champagne and sprayed it all over him. Like, what would have happened?
It was a lot of teammates would be salty there because
Lando was so happy for him.
He was because Lando had to give him a position in the race. I think was part of it.
Lando had to swap over positions with him.
And I think it was definitely worth it for him when that was the result. But it was also, more importantly than anything else, it was McLaren's first podium since 2012, I think it was, or 2013.
Was it not 2010?
6 years. No. It was like 2012 or 13. It was when Magnussen last got on the podium for McLaren.
Okay.
It was about 6 years ago. I know that at least. And it was amazing that they managed that. Amazing. Hopefully we see more from them next year. I think McLaren have come a long way since McLaren Honda eras of 2015 and beyond.
So this year...
It's very impressive to see that.
This year I was sat at home and I was thinking, I don't know who to support, okay? Because this was the first time that I not convinced myself, I told myself that I was going to fully watch it, okay? And watch it with passion, fully get engaged in it.
And can I just add a little note there? F1 Drive to Survive, I personally think is part of the reason you did that.
Oh, yeah, damn right.
And that is a testament to that series working and doing exactly what it wanted to do. It got so many new people into Formula One.
I love that series. My mum's a massive F1 fan. Shout out Goose.
There we are,
how's
Goose.
It going? I'm a massive F1 fan now. Yeah. And at the start of the season, I chose Haas. And then after one race...
because of Gunther Steiner from...
Because of Gunther from F1 Drive to Survive. And then after one race, I was like, Haas isn't for me.
No.
And then I looked into it more, and I thought...
You saw the heritage of McLaren.
I thought this McLaren team, they've got to big themselves back up.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to support Williams, but that would have been too hard.
Yeah.
But honestly,
a lot.
McLaren, I genuinely I love them now.
Well, at the start of the year, would you have thought you'd have had as much McLaren merch as you do?
No.
Exactly. You got McLaren shirts. That's
Shirt.
it.
One shirt. No plural there. But yeah, I did get a McLaren shirt.
You
and
did.
It was I do
you wear
like
it a lot.
I wear it a lot.
Is it
it's
comfy?
Really comfy. It's incredibly comfy.
Brilliant.
It's like wearing a Liverpool shirt. I've got as much love
Just
for
pulled a Bayern
McLaren.
shirt when saying that, but you know.
Yeah, well, you know, this is comfy too. I've got as much love for McLaren as I do for Liverpool.
You're not saying that.
I am.
Really?
I am. Like.
You've been a lifelong Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
And you've been a McLaren
When
fan
I'm watching
for a year.
F1, honestly, when I'm watching F1, I cheer McLaren like I cheer Liverpool.
It's true, you do.
Yeah.
Wow, that's... There you go.
There you go.
McLaren.
20 years
There's
on
a
this
little
earth.
soundbite for you.
20 years
Yeah.
I've supported Liverpool for.
Yeah.
And my love for McLaren, I don't know whether it's from Lando with his like absolute goofiness on his
Yeah.
Instagram and stuff like that, or Carlos being the incredible
They've
driver
got a
that he
great
is.
team pairing.
It's
to be fair.
so good.
I don't think Fernando Alonso, as good as a driver as he was, they wouldn't have achieved this with Fernando in the team.
Mm-mm.
Not a chance. And to be fair, I don't think he'd be as passionate with Fernando in the team.
I don't like Fernando.
What do you think about Stoffel?
Hmm?
Stoffel Van Dorn. What do you think about him? No, nothing for him either.
No.
Yeah, Lando and Carlos is an incredible driver pairing, and that they
I-
made such a good decision going with those two.
All I'm saying is
for
I
sure.
really, really, really don't like.
And they made a very wise decision not letting
Yeah.
Lando go to Toro Rosso.
Was that going to happen?
He almost went to Toro Rosso last year instead of Alex, yeah.
Oh.
Which would have
Who
been
knew?
interesting because he would have been in the Red Bull instead of Gasly at some point. But
Then I would have been supporting Red Bull.
But you know, I think they made a wise decision. They because at first they didn't want to put him in the car because he was a rookie and they didn't
A bit young.
want that.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
only 19, but they did, and I think they're very grateful they did. It's definitely paid off for them.
Lando
But
had an incredible season.
after Brazil, the curtain came down on the 2019 Formula One season. Lewis Hamilton enjoyed a silky smooth evening beneath the floodlights at Abu Dhabi to record his 11th win of the season ahead of Red Bull of Max Verstappen and Ferrari of Charles Leclerc.
Silky smooth.
And that was the end of the season. We've
You
kind of
like-
done it. I'm not going to get into too much depth with the Abu Dhabi report because we that was episode 1.
You like,
Go
you
back
like
and
to
listen
put
to
that
if you want it.
into the podcast, didn't you?
Yeah.
Silky smooth.
Oh yeah.
You enjoyed
Little bit
saying
of
that. I could tell it.
alliteration.
Your eyes lit up
Oh yeah.
when you said it.
Yeah. But if you want more information on Abu Dhabi, go back and listen to episode 1 because that's the only one we've actually reviewed this season.
Series 00, episode 1.
1.
Go listen.
Go
All
listen.
right. Don't be silly. Don't be silly.
Don't be silly.
Go back and listen to it. I
Yeah.
know maybe some of the stuff that we've talked about, like vagina perfume and stuff. I know that might have been long gone, okay? But still go listen to it.
It is still
all right?
relevant.
I'm actually wearing my F1 vagina perfume right now.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I am.
But I think that's where we're going to be rounding out this podcast. And
Is that
for now, I'm just also going to lead this off saying have a very Merry Christmas to everyone listening.
And a very happy New Year to you too. It's Iltom from the future again back here just to sign off the podcast. So thank you very much again to everyone for listening this year. It's been an honour and I look forward to talking to you again in January. I hope you've enjoyed it and please do come back. Thank you very much for listening in 2019 and yeah, I'll see you then.